Jake Dutton's refusal to abandon his pack under any circumstances is, I suppose, demonstrated in the second episode of 1923 Season 2. One of the many things that sets Jake apart from players like Donald Whitfield is his treatment of his men as if they were family, as demonstrated by his backing of Banner Creighton when he needed financial assistance to fight his foes. The mining tycoon does assist his people. However, Whitfield's favors come at a cost, which is what makes Banner think in this episode. Banner and Father Renault are two guys who still have some hope of survival in 1923. Perhaps their death could be a little poetic, for want of a better term, but I'm not saying they aren't cruel or deserving of death. But when it comes to Marshall Kent and Whitfield, not even God can deliver such men. They will eventually have to deal with the fallout from their barbarism, and perhaps even meet their most horrific demise. Whitfield invented a new sport. Whitfield gave Banner some business advice at the start of the first episode, advising him to find a more lucrative business venture than grazing. Whitfield raised the same point as millions of other men and women in the Yellowstone universe. Cowboying and herding are futile endeavors that only result in suffering. It will eventually be supplanted by the upcoming wave of the future. Thomas was killed. Spencer met some mafia members. When Luca and Spencer eventually arrived in Galveston, they met Rosario Maceo, Luca's cousin who operated a bootlegging operation during the Prohibition era. Maceo was eager to see the legendary big game hunter, as he had heard stories about him from everyone else. He gave Spencer a room at the opulent resort as a thank you for saving his cousin's life. But Spencer didn't have time for small talk and attempted to leave the hotel when Maceo's right-hand man, Angelo, tried to stop him. Spencer got into trouble once more and knocked the man down so he could go find a ride home. But Maceo took him back to Maceo's Hollywood Diner Club before he could get out of Galveston. At this point, a battered and severely injured Spencer confided in the Italian mobster about his concerns and asked him to release him. Jake and his group become trapped in a blizzard. When Cara implored Jake not to travel during the blizzard in the previous episode, he told her he would return from Bozeman the following evening, but Jake was unable to change his mind. The problem is that he had saved Alice and Zane and had no idea what might be pursuing them. Cara kills the wolf. The vicious wolf who had tasted Elizabeth's blood came to the Dutton residence at the end of 1923 episode 2 and murdered the nurse who was dozing on the couch. A nurse had accompanied Dr. Miller when he visited the house earlier, unfortunately oblivious to the tragedy that awaited them at night. Dr. Miller and the nurse had made the decision to spend the night at the Dutton house due to the storm.